Our next guest is the author of a memoir. And so if you are out there thinking about writing a memoir, this is a great time for you to sneak in your questions, particularly about writing about personal topics and about your personal life. So I'm going to ask Sandra Rodriguez Bicknell to join me. Sandra, hello.
Hello.
Sandra is the author of Cuts of a Diamond, My Journey Back to Me. Such a beautiful story. Sandra, why don't you tell people a little bit about what it's about and how you came to write it?
Yes, so my story, it's about my story and heartache and love and faith. So basically, it's all my stories, but the main thread through the whole book is my faith and how it grew and how it changed and evolved and all the tools I used to believe that there was a purpose for everything that I went through.
And really seeing that purpose and helping other people
Absolutely.
see that
Absolutely.
purpose. So when you came to us, which feels like it was, I think, the end of October.
Yes, it was.
It was like October 30th or something.
Yes,
I
it
remember
was.
the
It was
first
a
day.
very specific day.
I saw you. So when you came to us, you wanted to tell your story,
Absolutely.
and you have told your story. Can you share how maybe that process was different or how the book is different than what you expected? What surprised you the most?
What surprised me the most was that the team and you, of course, were able to help me focus on exactly what I wanted to say and who I wanted to speak to and who I wanted to give my message to. So once that became clear, then the story came out naturally. And it was, a lot of work, very difficult, very stressful, very, very, very intense.
But I feel like that
was-
first month in November, I think you thought I was trying to kill you.
I did. It was, yeah, I thought I was going to die.
Yeah. So how did we get there? How would you describe the process? Because you're like, I just want to write a memoir. I just want to tell my story. Why can't I do that?
Right.
So talk a little bit about how we got to here.
We got to here by, and I say it all the time, and it's let go or be dragged. So I was kicking and screaming, and I couldn't get my head around how to do this, how to write it, how to get the message out very specifically. And you and your tools and your guidance helped me put my things in order and put my thoughts in order and put my purpose in order. And then everything happened. You just
Like once you get all those like fundamental, I always think of it like building a house. Like once we got the foundation right, I'm not saying writing was easy.
No.
But do you see why you
Magic.
got to
It's
the end?
Magic. It's magic. It's magic. What you have going on here is absolute nothing less or more than magic. It is. And what you do and the techniques you use to get people, or I speak for myself, to get myself and my mind in order in a way that everything else just falls into place. It just falls into place, and it's so gratifying, and it's so wonderful.
I knew from the second I read I remember the day I read your application, and I was like, this is an incredible story. But especially when you have, and I'm going to take a couple more questions because I see a lot of them coming up here, but especially when you have a lot of life experience and big things that have happened, which you do. You guys are going to love this book. If you're looking for a page turner, this is the one you're looking for. And when you have so much, it can be very overwhelming, and that's why people don't finish. And then I know there are so many amazing stories like this one that aren't getting out in the world.
Yes, and this is true. There was so much, and I was able to, with your help, go through my entire life story. My entire life story went in this one book, and it was because I was able to stay on topic and stay on point and stay with my true purpose, which was to tell the story of faith, basically.
Yeah, getting really clear. So, couple questions.
Sure.
We've touched on a little bit of this, but I'll have you chime in. Carmen from New Orleans is asking, how did you overcome writer's block? And so that's kind of an interesting related one. And then Honey is saying, how do I get clear on my message? And these things are related. If you are not clear on your message, you will for sure have writer's block. And I think there were moments where you...
Absolutely. I had writer's block. A lot of the reason I had writer's block was, one, fear, 100%. Fear of being honest about how things happened. And it also was difficult to put myself out there. I knew that the people were going to read and people were going to hear and people would judge, but you just have to let go. You have to let go, and you have to write, and you have to just focus. So there were days that I would spin around my house and days and days and days without writing a thing. But I wouldn't leave. I wouldn't leave, and I wouldn't let go, and I wouldn't stop until I got words down. And follow and listen and reach out to you and get your guidance, truly.
So I'm going to ask you one more question. This one's from VJ. Hello, VJ. And he asks, or she asks, I'm guessing on gender here, what was it like writing your book with a group of authors? I think this is particularly fascinating when you're writing such a personal story.
Absolutely. It's interesting because the group of authors that I worked with all had been thinking about their book, have a business already. They, I felt a little out of place because mine was a memoir, so it was very, very different. But the support was immeasurable. The support from every one of the authors was just inspiring. Everybody felt, the same way. We were able to connect, in our group, and that part is what really propelled my writing.
So here's the thing I think is the secret. It's a little bit of a dirty secret, but I like it anyway, which is when you came in and there were all the authors that were scheduled to finish their book with you, I think there's, and I'll get your take on this, but I think there's a little peer pressure that you don't want to be the one person who doesn't finish.
Absolutely.
And I think that's part of our secret, why everybody finishes.
Absolutely.
But everybody wonders the thing you were wondering, which is like, am I the least qualified person here?
Absolutely.
Did you watch other people have the same sort of crisis or questions that you were having and think, maybe I'm not alone?
Absolutely. And many times I had questions, or I would be talking to you and I'd raise my hand and I'd say I have a question, and somebody would come in with the same question, and it made it so much easier for me to feel normal, not crazy.
That's one of my favorite pieces of feedback. You're normal.
I'm normal, and I could do it because I have something to say and I have a message, and you recognize that, and everybody in this group has something so important to say, and this was the best way. I highly recommend.
And you look around and you think, well, it can't be that if all these other people here are here and I got accepted, like it can't be that I can be the only dumb one.
Exactly.
You just got to look around and you're like, oh, these are my peers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that also goes back to the way I lived, which is thinking I was not, up to par, or I wasn't the one that, could reach these, measures. And I thought, okay, so yes I am, yes I can, and that's the most exciting part.
Yes I am. Yes I can. You are officially one of us. I knew from the day I met you you would be. Sandra Rodriguez Bicknell. She is the author of Cuts of a Diamond, A Journey Back to Me. If you're alive, just get the book. You have to read this one. It is a story you will not believe, and it will have you flipping the virtual pages. Go ahead and grab your copy at Amazon right now. Thank you so much for sharing your story with the world.
Thank you.